Hi, my name's Will from Twin Peaks Fly Fishing, and tonight I'm going to take you through the most basic spey cast, the roll cast. Okay, we're going to discuss why we'd use the roll cast, what we'd use it for, when we'd use it, and I'm going to discuss the mechanics of the cast. Top hand, I generally hold the rod like I'd hold a key into a door, so I'm going to put my index finger underneath it, wrap my 3 fingers around and my thumb on top. Keep the grip nice and loose. On the bottom, again, personal preference, you can hold the rod like this. I quite like my thumb on the back spine of the rod. You can hold it like this as well. The key is not to grip it too tight. If you're gripping the rod too tight and you've got white knuckles, you're going to lose feeling on what's happening with the rod. And you're going to lose that feeling of the relationship between the rod and the line. So nice loose grip. Let's have a little look at the stance. Now I would advocate, if I'm fishing with my right hand on top, so that's my right hand uppermost on the rod, I prefer to put my right foot forward, the corresponding top arm to leg. If I'm going to cast off my left shoulder, exactly the same, I'll put my left foot forward, my left hand on top, okay? That just means that everything's in a straight line, okay? My arm and my feet and everything is pointing towards where I want that fly to go to. So I'd like to just introduce the roll cast, okay? Why would we use a roll cast? It's not particularly great for changing direction, so it's not that much of a fishing cast. I'd say for me it is an organisational cast, it's a line management cast, okay? If we've just changed our fly, okay, in all the lines here by our feet, the roll cast is a really good way to get that line nice and straight, okay, to get it down straight below us. Before we begin any of the cast, we always want that line straight down below us, so we begin the cast with the rod under tension. If we're fishing in the spring, and we're fishing sink tips and heavy flies, then quite often we'll do a roll cast down once, maybe twice to get everything up on the surface. Again, just to get us to that starting point to make the spey cast. So just before I go through the roll cast fully, okay, I just want to introduce 2 fundamental things in spey casting, okay? These are 2 things that you cannot make an efficient spey cast without. So we're just going to lift the rod. Okay, and we're just going to drag that line back towards us slowly, okay? And we're going to finish up in this position here. You notice my forearm is bent at the elbow. The rod is 45 degrees to the forearm, roughly pointed about 2 o'clock. My thumb is pointing to the vertical and my bottom hand is out in front of the body. And you'll notice it's out in front of the sternum, out in front of the middle of the body. That we're going to call the key casting position. That's the position we're going to finish in before we make all of the spey casts. Okay? You'll notice 2 things. Just by holding the rod into this position, we've created these 2 fundamental things that we need in spey casting. Okay? The line from the tip of the rod to the water. Okay? We're going to call that the D loop. And you'll notice if we hold the rod at 45 degrees, it looks like a D. Okay? That's why we call it that. Okay, so that D loop, that line that's in the air there, okay, that's the weight that we're bending the rod against. It's that line that's in the air that we're able to bend that rod against, okay? The line on the water, we're going to call the anchor, and it does exactly what an anchor does to a ship. It holds that D loop in place for us to bend the rod against it, okay? So if we come back and up and hold this position, and then we accelerate to a stop with a forward cast, we've made our first roll cast. Okay, and I'll just discuss a little bit what that forward cast is. Okay, so again, we've come back into this position here. We've got our D-loop, we've got our anchor. And from here in slow motion, I suppose we're going to start driving that top hand in a straight line. At the same time, we're going to be pulling that bottom hand in to a stop. Okay, and we're going to stop that rod in the opposite position to what it is there. So there we are, 45 degrees behind us. There we are, 45 degrees in front of us, okay? And it wants to just be a smooth acceleration to a stop. So if we're watching that D-loop and we're watching as that D-loop forms behind our shoulder, something's going to happen which will tell us when to make the forward cast, okay? If we lift the rod there and then begin with a sweep, okay? We're sweeping back and there's the second lift. As you watch that D-loop grow, it will just sag just behind your shoulder like that, okay? If I hold it there all day long, you'll see that more and more line is falling on the water, okay? So just as that D-loop starts to fall behind your shoulder, that's your key to go forwards. When the D-loop is at its maximum before it starts falling on the water, okay? So the easiest thing to do is watch it. Watch it out the corner of your eye as the D-loop just disappears behind your shoulder. make the forward cast. We've discussed an anchor and a D-loop, and these are two things that we have to have in order to make a roll cast, okay? So as long as we come back to here, we've got an anchor holding the D-loop in place, we've got weight behind the tip of the rod. Watch what happens if we try and make that forward cast before the D-loop has formed, okay? So if we come back to here and make the forward cast before that D-loop has formed behind the tip of the rod, the line's going to come at me. Watch what happens similarly if we haven't got an anchor, okay? So if we come back a little bit too fast and go forward, there's nothing to hold that D-loop in place for us to bend the rod against it, okay? And I'll show you again. If we come back a little bit too fast, we've got no anchor, we're going to hear a whipping sound. Quite often you hear a cracking sound. So for me, the key with the roll cast is keep it slow. Watch what's happening. There's the lift, there's the sweep out to the side, there's the second lift. As the D-loop gets behind our shoulder, we make the forward cast. Easy.